My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, chances are you've heard once or twice about adding value to a property to increase its worth, especially with multifamily properties. Value add is and has been a big thing for a long time. Well, today's special guest, Spencer Cullor, who is zooming in on the part of apartment investors, these guys have actually done it multiple ways, multiple times, in very, very different, unique circumstances. So looking forward to chatting with Spencer and really diving deep into their version of value add. So welcome to the show, Spencer.
Thank you for having me.
So Spencer, give us a little snapshot of what your company looks like today, mid 2025. How many buildings or how many units do you have in the portfolio? What kind of market areas are you in? Just kind of give us an overview of where it looks like right now.
Sure. We currently have seven multifamily properties, about 1,200 units. We're in the Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Northwest Arkansas markets.
Nice. So, all right. So very specific, kind of keeping it all close to home, like you're not going too far away.
Yeah, no, we're based out of Kansas City, and we try to go within 4 hours driving time to our property. So if anything pops up, we can be there.
Now, I mentioned earlier that you guys have got a lot of experience with value add. What does that mean to you? And what's, well, first of all, tell us what that means to you, value add, and then maybe illustrate with a story of one of your favorite value add projects.
Sure. People talk a lot of, especially brokers, talk about value add, and you can do this and you'll get this in rents. We're always looking at ways that we can add value to our projects, and we try to do it in a really strategic way. So we're looking at if we need to change the use of the property to maximize the value, what we can do from a rent standpoint, what needs to be done from a capital improvement standpoint, or renter experience. But we're really trying to look at it from how do we improve this property for the community? How do we attract a higher tenant base, and how can we really focus on that tenant satisfaction in a way to try to drive value for our projects.
If I think you guys have done 17 different projects at this point, something like that. If you had to pick one out of those 17 that's your baby, that you just love, like your favorite story to tell about value add, which one is it?
One of the properties that we did that was kind of wild. It ended up being one that we found kind of off market. It was a boarded up property. It was
a boarded up what? It was an old apartment building?
5-unit multifamily property that had been boarded up. Wow. People bailed at it. We went in to it eyes wide open, bought it straight from the bank. And in about 18 months, had completely renovated it, leased it up, and sold it within 24 months. But it was, I remember walking in that project, and we walked into a couple of the units, and you had to unscrew wood off the doors, and you get in there, and then you notice that, well, all of a sudden there's a hallway going between all these units in here that we don't think existed before, where people had got in and gone from unit to unit to try to steal things. So wow. That was one of the more rough projects, but it had a really immediate turnaround impact on the community. Took kind of a blighted property and turned it around. We've had many others that have been much more simple than that, but that was one that we really provided huge value really quick.
Well, I was reading the information you sent ahead of time. You've also kind of recycled other kind of properties that weren't multifamily and turned them into multifamily properties, hotels and independent living facilities. Tell us a little bit about that, converting like something like that into an apartment building?
Sure. One of the ones we just completed and leased up was an independent living facility we found that was had failed and had a lot of capex needs that it needed, but it had really good bones. So we went in there, renovated it, took it from 114 units to one of the things that's difficult with independent living is that they have so much common area space.
Hmm.
So we were able to maximize the floor plans there to get it turned it into 133 units when we were done.
Wow.
So we bought it very reasonable, added by just reconfiguring space that was done. We were able to add, a significant number of units to the property, and now it's leased up at 97% and doing great. Um,
Well, now wouldn't that be primarily all one bedroom type units in that situation?
we had one bedroom, two bedroom, and studios that
Wow.
we made out of that.
Yeah.
I think one thing people all think about is how many units can I get? They're all thinking, if I just put 100 studios in there, that would be great. Um, you really have to know what you're doing in that market and know what that market space needs. Um,
Yeah.
we're in the process of doing a hotel renovation to apartments right now. That's a historic renovation. And one of the things we did ahead of time was really research the market and find out what type of floor plan was really needed in that marketplace. So we ended up actually cutting down the number of units to get more two bedroom, two baths out of that project. And we're looking on these projects for two, not how can I just lease them up one time, because it's easy to lease them up when they're brand new. It's how can I create floor plans that people love that will stay in there long term? Because your biggest our cost on these projects is turnover cost once you get to operating. So
Right.
we want to have something that really people like the floor plans that want to stay longer. Help cut down on those costs moving forward.
So are you guys kind of a long-term buy and hold outfit, or is it more kind of get them, renovate them, get them optimized, sell them to the next guy, get going on the next project?
I think it's opportunistic for us. We have some that we've held 9, 10 years, and others that we've flipped really quick. We had one project that was 236 units that we renovated. The market was super hot. We had a guy offer us double what we paid in a year. We
Wow.
sold it in 18 months. We were planning on holding long term, but we try to have flexible debt on our projects so we can get in and out of it if it makes sense. And we have a whole set of our portfolio that we hold long term. So it just
Okay.
kind of depends, but that's something that we do a little differently is try to structure our debt in a way that's more flexible so that we're not stuck with a project for 10 years unless we want to be.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. So, Spencer, I mean, a lot of people in the multifamily space have taken a bit of a kicking over the last few years. I mean, the interest rates have affected everybody, that's for sure. Insurance costs have affected
Mhm.
everybody. Lowering property prices have affected some people. How have you guys been making it through these challenging times?
A couple keys for us is we bought the projects right. I think that's the key. That helps you through so many other things. It's hard to do. It takes longer to find and buy, but buy them right, finance them conservatively, lock in those rates. If it works when you when you buy it, lock those rates to eliminate that risk. Even if you
Yeah.
can maybe see a little better ROI, if you have some more flexible debt, you'll sleep better having locked in date rates. So be conservative on that part. And then if you're in the multifamily space, you got to be a good operator. So we have really focused on our operations. We've added a lot of technology in that side of our business. We've really invested in good people, but the operations have to be really strong.
So I was looking over the information you sent ahead of time for the interview, and you talked about utilizing artificial intelligence
Mhm.
a lot more these days. How are you guys using AI in your business?
I mean, it's more what are we not doing anymore? So I mean, pretty much everything that I work
Wow.
on, I ask, what can I do? How can I use AI to help me with this? Whether it's analyzing water bills on a project that's coming in from month to month to look for opportunities where there may be leaks or things that we can do more efficiently. We actually probably utilize about 85% of our tenant communications and prospect communications are done through AI right now. They're
So what
scheduling
does that
tours
mean?
for us.
What does that mean?
I mean, they're handling our lead inquiries that come in. We're help qualifying them through that, whether it's phone, text, email, any language. We're able to manage that through that technology, through chatbots, through phone,
Through AI
AI.
agents on the phone, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so we've used AI agents on a lot of that tenant qualification, setting up tours. So we've changed our roles a lot on even our property managers and leasing agents, where they're more taking care of, focused on taking care of our residents and making sure when the person comes on site to tour that they're getting a great experience. So it's kind of changed our whole outlook and our roles and responsibilities for our employee base as well.
And what improvements have you seen besides efficiency? Like, how has this improved the end user experience, your tenant experience? Have you noticed a difference there?
We have one, we're able to catch problems faster and
Hmm.
really document them. So, like if something happens, sometimes things get lost in translation between on-site staff, tenant, and then us as the on the management side. One thing it's given us is a real strong audit log, so we can go back and see what's going on. We can escalate problems. We're also proactively reaching out to tenants to make sure that their move in went well. Did we complete the work order the way you want it? Is there anything we can do to improve your experience while you're here? It's really, we've seen a noticeable improvement on renewals, on online reviews, and just people's feedback on these guys really care about us as tenants.
Very cool. Hats off to you for really, it sounds like you've gone all in on implementing AI in your business.
And I think when times get tough, you've got to be a really good operator
Mhm.
to make it through those. So we've really focused on operations over the last 2, 3 years when it's been anything but normal.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly for sure, Spencer. So the other big part of this business is raising capital to do these kind of deals. A lot of folks, are kind of gun shy about getting into deals, especially if they've been involved in a few other syndications where things have slowed down or stopped or gone out of business. What are
Mhm.
you finding in today's capital raising environment?
Well, we have a lot of repeat investors, thankfully, that when they see our deals come up, they're in. But it is more challenging. So you've got to spend more time with them explaining the deal, explaining the key points. You've got to have a really solid business plan for the project, and above all, they've got to trust you that you're going to do what you say. They want to see your track record, not only when things have gone right. They want to see, you know, to me, it's more important what does this operator do when things don't go according to plan, and are they going to be smart enough to be able to operate in that environment when things don't go perfect, to adapt and maximize this project still. Um, that's really, to me, what people hire us for, is when to manage when things don't go well, or when
So,
you
so how
have
do how do you show
pandemic,
people that?
or
How do you
um,
show people that?
I think we show them through real life examples of, this is what happened during COVID, and we didn't take any deferrals of our loans, or we were able to pay things all the way through. If a capex project was short, when inflation took off, we loaned money to the project instead of doing a capital call. to get through it. I think those are the kind of things we can show to our investors, that they see that we're really invested in the projects making sense
Very
and
cool.
dedicated to making them work.
So you've got a good base of investors. You've got a good number of people doing repeat investments. I imagine you've got some good referrals going as well. What else do you guys do to generate investor leads for new investors?
One of the things we used to do a lot more of was investor education. So used to write a lot of blog articles, do a lot more podcasts than we do today. And sometimes when operations get really busy and you're busy, it's hard to do those things. But we really try to do a lot of education around what we're doing, why, what happened in this project, how do we do better on this? What kind of lessons did we learn from this project that we can apply to the next? So we really
I
try.
like the idea. So you're talking about being transparent. You're not just so many people I see, they just, blow flowers at themselves, talking about how great and how smart they are and how great the deals turned out. Sounds like you guys bring forth those not so pretty sides of deals and illustrate how you got over that challenge.
And I think anybody that says they haven't ever run into a speed bump on a project hasn't been doing many projects.
Yeah.
I
Was a
always told
big fat fibber.
like this is our pro forma. This is what we think is a reasonable expectation for this project. I can guarantee you that it won't look exactly like this.
Yeah.
It could be better, it could be a little worse, but we're going to do everything we can to perform to this, and this is what we think is realistic on the project. I think that's important. We do stress investor transparency. So we on every one of our projects we send out basically 100-page financial report every month.
Does anybody
On,
read it? Oh
on
my God.
I mean, we have some that read it. Usually they skim through and look at the variance report or this or that.
Hopefully they grab it, put it through ChatGPT
Yeah,
and say, show me anything that's a
they
red
can look
flag.
at the variance report, the
Yeah.
property report, but if they want to, they can see where every single dollar was spent.
Yeah.
So if it's that's we want to provide more information than less, and then let them decide what's important to them on that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Very cool. So as we're wrapping up the conversation here, Spencer, where do you see the markets that you guys are in going over the next 12 to 18 months? And what do you guys have on the horizon as a company? What are you looking forward to?
We're getting ready to start a new fund. So we're looking for opportunities. I've got one project on the market right now that we're looking at exiting and hopefully doing a 1031 on. I see a lot of opportunities. I see some people over the last couple of years that didn't necessarily perform very well and then got hit with
Yeah.
interest rates rising. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for strong operators in the market with some experience. So, we're going to be aggressive in acquisitions and I think we can add a few more this year.
Wonderful. Hey, Spencer, this has been great. And I'm sure there's going to be some folks wanting to connect with you. Where's the best place for them to go?
Sure. The best place is on our website at apartmentinvestors.com. We can do through a free 30-minute consultation with anyone, kind of find out a little bit more of them, their investment criteria, and then hopefully find projects that match up with them.
Sounds good. Awesome, Spencer. Well, thank you very much for being on the show.
All right. Thank you.
All right, everybody, take care. We'll see you on the next one. Hey there. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewsyou.com.